Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Today I'm going to be talking about KTOV. This is an update. So my last update was calling in for a runner, and it did run quite a bit, but now it has caught an offering. So that's a little bit of a dangerous thing, and I need to look into a bit more technical analysis as it tends to follow then technical analysis rather than the previous hype. So kind of like one negative PR that would just drop the price quite a bit. But we'll also need to be considering a little bit of difference into what happens usually at an offering when a stock has had a run as well, like mid-run, they put an offering. So I'll also be looking at other different stocks as well had an offering to compare as well in the same situation to what could have happened. So let's take a quick look into different indicators. So first, the unbalanced volume, we can see that there's a large, massive jump into unbalanced volume, so that's a good sign in terms of the growth of the stock. Now, going to the MACD, it has increased almost double the day before, and the blue is above the red. We need to look a little bit closer into the intraday in order to assess exactly what the movement. So the offering, I believe, was around 0.90. So it's still below the offering price. Now, the willing percent R has moved it from overbought to neutral, which is a good situation here as it's been neutral for the longest time before its run. Now, the average directional index is at 31, so it's a little bit in the range that I would like it to be. Now, in terms of averages, the averages look great. 10 SMAs above the 30 EMA, perfect. The stock is above the 200 SMA, which is considered expensive, and is above the 58 SMA, which is still considered expensive. Now, we're going to be looking into first the 1 hour, 5 days interval in order to see the last trend. So the stock is approaching the trading action zone from above, so that's basically where reversals are likely to happen. But in terms of the stock, it seems that it has been dumped quite a bit because of the offering, and that's very usual. The stock is trading around almost 85 cents. Now, the current resistances that I see around here is around say around 84 cents, and then follows that around 71, I would say, 79, and then around 0.70. So that's the current supports that are at. So in terms of resistance, I only see a resistance coming in around over here, around 0.93, then one above here, 1.98. So it still has room to grow. We can see that MACD is actually still decreasing pretty badly, but I believe it is actually recovering slowly into the pre-market. We might see perhaps just a little bit of an increase, going perhaps to maybe 0.87, 88. So that's a good few percentage increase. Let's take a quick look into the moving averages. So the moving averages, the stock has already been quite a bit above the moving average, but even though when I said around here that with a good PR, it can still quite jump a bit, and it did actually. So right now, I would not be considering more of a very optimistic view in terms of this, at least for the very short being. But it's still good news coming in. So hold on. Let's take a look into the 1 month. We're going to do the 5 days, 1 hour. So we can see the original trend line for this last jump that it was multi-day runner was moving forwards, and the price should have ended somewhere around 0.90. But because of the offering, this has dipped quite a bit. So what I expected is it might actually recover back into the zone. Now let's take a quick look into a little bit of a different. Let's look into the statement first, and then we're going to compare it to other stocks. So the statement itself is that around offering is around 0.90. Okay, so that's not far off from other prices, but it's still quite a bit above what the average was in a while ago. Okay, so no other information here other than that in terms of useful. It should close on the 25th, so it's still got a couple of days in order to close. Now let's look into one that has a similar offering during a run. We're going to be looking at NBRV, which also had an offering during a run, and that was caused by an FDA approval awaiting. Let's take a quick look. Well, it did not have a 3 months one. Go to trend lines instead. And try to look into the 3 months one day. You can see somewhere around this run here, the jump, they ended up putting an offering, believe around 0.91 in terms of the offering here. Let me double check quickly. Okay, so nonetheless, I believe it was around 91. Information is not showing here right now. But what happened here is that it dipped quite a bit, and then it dipped below the offering price, and then it continued below even the offering price once again. So it did bleed for almost a day or for a couple of days before it's seen any kind of recovery. But then I'm not going to address what happened here. That was just because it was actually at the end where the FDA was delayed. So that's a little bit of bad, another PR bad news. But what's happened is that it still did trade a little bit above that ratio here, but it still did not jump back to that 120. So in terms of growth for KTOV, it's not going to dip so much insanely back to the pennies worth that it was before, but it's still a little bit of an inflated value. Now looking at YVR, that's another one as well here that they did have a dip around here. And the price just continued going on, and it dipped quite a bit. But still, that's a good scenario that we're hoping for in terms of similar to being NBRV, since it's also a pharmaceutical. But in terms of stocks, in terms of the PR coming in, I still expect a lot of PR for this stock. So the future still looks pretty good for this stock. Even if you get it under the offering price, that might be a good situation to do so. Now, for myself, I'm gonna wait a little bit of a day or two. Perhaps not tomorrow, but the day after, or maybe tomorrow. Just gonna be watching what the price happens, and if it does happen to dip even further, I might actually grab myself a few, but in a very small position, just in case the stock goes back to previous price where its average is. So my previous average is around 0.225, which is 75% less than what the current price is at. So there's a little bit of a high fall ratio in there, but let's say it would probably trade around 0.47. So it's 50% above what I would consider its average. So the 50 SMA is around 0.46. It's trading right now, I believe, at 0.84 in the aftermarket. Yeah, 0.84, 0.85, that range. So I wouldn't get it unless I get it perhaps at a support where it can still not fall far off behind. Now the one last thing I want to do is Fibonacci retracements here. So we're going to do the 1 month, 1 hour, quickly try to figure out current level that Fibonacci would sit at. Okay, so it's sitting nicely at 0.78 for the Fibonacci retracements. So that's pretty good in terms of a good support as well. Combined by that, I've already mentioned, is another support, 0.78 from the day before. So 0.78 sounds like a good support. I will consider to buying it at 0.78, as that's a price I'm comfortable with. Anything above that for myself, I wouldn't jump on this. But it's your opinion, and if you're still holding the stock, you might want to consider averaging down just in case the stock jumps up back sometime later on in the day, just to make sure that you've caught any dips that can happen. Anyway, thank you very much. Make sure to mention what other tickers you want me to DD. Comment, subscribe, share, and like. Have a wonderful day.